Quite a nice little neck beard I got going there. It's super attractive. Hello, quarantiners. That's right, I look like Ted Kaczynski. It's getting to the point where I finally need to do something about it. I don't really have a reason to get rid of any of this during quarantine, but I finally have a reason today, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm gonna take care of all this, and we're gonna go somewhere. Ooh. I lost about 8 pounds of hair, which is really the best weight loss program I've got going right now, where I get to keep eating pizza. So either way, let's go. Hi, my name's Chris Bauer, and I am an art slinger. I travel around the nation selling artwork at comic book conventions and anime conventions. And along the way, I like to visit movie locations, eat great food, and hang out with my fellow art slingers. Each week, I travel to a new convention in a different city. Sometimes by plane, but most of the time, I'm in the car. From the brisk streets of the Windy City, to the make-believe streets of Disney World, to the hills of Hollywood, California, and all the points in between. This is how I see America, on sets, streets, and eats. Hey guys, today I am in Metropolis, Illinois in Massac State Park. This is actually Fort Massac, which is a Revolutionary War fort. It's been up for eons, right on the Ohio River, just like Metropolis is. Metropolis is actually better known though as the home of Superman. And today I'm getting a private quarantine tour of the Superman Museum. So I'm gonna hook up with my buddy John. He's gonna help me film the tour of the Superman Museum, and we're really excited about it. It's been about 20 years since I've actually been in the museum. I was here almost 20 years ago for my first Superman celebration, which is a huge event that the whole city gets into, and it's every June, second weekend in June. Obviously not this year, but hopefully it will bounce back for next year. But first, we're gonna go to a little burger place right here in town called Yesterday's, and we're gonna grab some great food. So we're not doing Yesterday's. Hello. We are at the Super Museum in Metropolis, Illinois. These phone booths were built for smaller people, but it's a replica of one of the ones they used in the George Reeves series. But this entire museum is full of every kind of Superman collectible you can imagine, and we're gonna come check them out. So much Superman stuff. I love all the old costumes. I definitely had one of those when I was a kid. I just don't remember which one it was, because I was Superman one year. It's amazing how many things in the 80s you didn't take pictures of when you should have. I don't think I ever have a picture. I was like C-3PO one year, Superman, Grouch, Oscar the Grouch. I don't think I have any pictures in costumes, and all I wanted to do was run out there and get candy. I was a little bit of a portly child. It carried over. Always in a hurry.
But we don't have to talk about So then the value of yours goes up.
It's just established.
Another pogo stick.
Wow.
Plus 25% for the auction house.
That way all these roadside attractions can go, oh, if you're going down to Metropolis, you know
There's so much in here. It's under constant attack. Oh, it's consent attack. No, it's not. Metropolis under constant attack. That's weird. Oh, it's digital threats. Oh. Well, in that case, aren't we all? Who isn't under attack? Digitally. So the family that owns the museum, Jim Hamrick is the guy that started this museum, and his daughter Morgan and her husband Adam, they were gracious enough to let us in during quarantine. You know, this is usually open to the public every day, but of course during quarantine everything's been locked up. But I was very, very thrilled that they allowed us to do a private tour with them, and it's definitely been great and very much worth it. Ooh, the moon scene. He's got them sweet 80s Ugg boots. Napoleon Dynamite specials. Looks like just winter gloves. This is the height of prop building for Hollywood, I tell you. Stuff looks awesome on screen. And then when you get to look at stuff up close, you're like, they made that out of tinfoil. It's crazy. They made it access so the actor didn't have to get out to pee. So it's just a 2-snap thing where he could go drain the weasel during between takes. You know, if you're in space though and you have only 2 snaps holding on part of your spacesuit, you would not survive. It works for what they needed it to work for. It is Ugg boots.
Wrong! He's hungry. He's found us. And he's coming! Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding.
So this is Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg from Batman vs. Superman. This is his costume. The cool thing about him is this was obviously done by a Star Wars fan, because if you notice his number, it's TK421, which is the Stormtrooper's number in A New Hope that has the bad comlink when Han and Luke are breaking through the Death Star. They look down and say, TK421, why aren't you at your post? And he does this, and when they open the door, Chewie's right there, of course, with them. So
TK421, why aren't you at your post? TK421, do you copy?
it's a little nod to Star Wars there in Batman vs. Superman. This is Adam. He's Morgan's husband, which Morgan's dad owns the museum. This is their family business. Anyway, he's got a couple of cool stories about some of these George Reeves costumes.
This is an original costume, complete with the boots, which you'll very rarely find the boots for any costume because they get the most amount of wear on them. I would imagine.
They probably disintegrate.
Most of them do, or you'll see all kinns of scuffs and tears on the back. The zippers rip because they flex the most.
Oh, yeah.
So this costume Jim's had for the longest. He got straight from Cy Simonson.
Oh, really?
Back in the late 70s or early 80s.
Wow.
And this, if you can see how the arms stick out like this, this has one of the, I think there's only 2 sets existing, and the other one sold from the Simonson estate. His son sold a costume.
Yeah.
And, it's got the latex foam muscles under it.
No kidding.
So
really? Even back then?
George wore latex foam muscles, which they are not in the best shape as 1950s foam. Doesn't quite hold
prop
up.
departments were not known for high quality materials.
It was a kid's show, so it wasn't meant to last, 50 years later.
Yeah.
But this one has the muscles. It's got, belt buckle, everything. And then this here is the Mr. Kryptonite suit, which, if you don't know who Mr. Kryptonite is...
I don't remember him.
Mr. Kryptonite was whenever they would they weren't filming, they would go do state and county fair tours.
Oh, okay.
And they would go around like Southern California and stuff like that.
Sure.
And Mr. Kryptonite was the villain for Superman, and George would play in Superman.
Gotcha.
And Mr. Kryptonite would be in the ring, like terrorizing the audience.
Okay.
And then Superman
awesome.
would come out, and he would come up behind him, and he would. This is one of the few surviving. It's a balsa wood baseball bat.
Gotcha.
And he would come in and smash the baseball bat over his.
Of course.
But the cool thing about this is, if you turn it around, they took a George Reeves costume and they dip dyed it black.
No kidding.
So this is a George Reeves costume with the tags in it, but they dyed it black in Mr. Kryptonite.
Of course.
And Mr. Kryptonite was played by Gene LaBelle.
Oh, okay.
If you know who Gene LaBelle is, he's like the godfather of grappling wrestling.
Sure.
And he did all kinds of stunt
Yeah,
work in the 70s,
he's a
80s.
huge famous stuntman.
Yeah, and the most recent one people might know is Married with Children. He did all the bar scene fights for, and he was Al's stuntman.
God, that would have had to been near the end of his career.
Yeah,
that would have had to been in his 50s.
But he was still, he's still, prime condition. He was
That's
a super athletic guy into it.
Now, how did Jim come into most of this stuff? Like, what was his background when he lived out in Hollywood?
He did door-to-door housewares for a while,
Really?
and that fueled the money to be able to do this, and because this was his passion, but you still got to pay the bills.
Absolutely.
And then eventually, after so many years of doing that, he moved out here, and then this became the bill payer, the passion, the everything.
That's neat.
But another one is whenever he was in Clark Kent.
Oh, yeah.
it's the breakaway shirt, like
Clark Kent Dickie.
So this was the undershirt, and then the breakaway tie. And,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that Hollywoodland movie. I know that there was a lot of mystery around his death.
Well, the three,
it's still not solved, is it?
Well, not according to the powers that be,
gotcha.
but Jim has I think he has it, he still has it. It's a taped confession from Lenore Lemon.
No kidding. Who was Lenore Lemon?
It was George's mistress back in the day.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And this was
That's
like
pretty cool.
He got it from her on her deathbed in like 89.
You're kidding me.
88, 89, and he got it on audio recording and stuff.
Really?
And then they were taking it to prepare to to do everything, and then she
passed
died
away.
in like January of 90.
Wow.
So when somebody's dead, you can't really do anything except mourn them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
These Superman phones were really popular back in the 60s and 70s. They are pretty cool. You see those at shows, sometimes cons, and they're always $1,000 or more. Just wish those Sports Illustrated football phones were worth as much. Really glad I held on to those. Ooh, Smallville. Ooh. I watched Smallville when it was on. Actually, I remember when I was watching it, back when DVD sets were the thing to have. So mid-2000s, I was in the LA airport, and I saw John Schneider in a sunglasses like kiosk, and I just happened to have the entire 5th season on DVD on me. I say that because that was what he said when I went up for an autograph. So you just happen to have this. I was like, yeah. And I still have that somewhere. I think I had that suit coat in the 90s as well. Dean Cain and I, we shared a lot of fashion sense. His was muscle, mine was fat, but we were both husky-ish. I did a lot of comic collecting growing up, but unfortunately Superman and the DC heroes were not my thing. Mine was Marvel and Spider-Man. But when I did delve in, once in a while I'd see a cover of a Superman book that would catch my eye. I really like the Bizarro stuff. I always liked that world and the Bizarro Superman. Just because I think I like villains more anyway. doing cons as I do for a living, going around selling artwork, I see a lot of these actors and actresses at the shows and a lot of these collectibles too. I will say this, that this place has got a lot of stuff I've never seen before. And there's even pictures of actors and actresses that I don't even see at cons, so which I'm kind of surprised. It seems like anyone doing anything in the past in the Superman world would be at a con signing autographs, given how rabid the fan base is for it. So this is pretty cool. It's pretty unique. That's pretty cool. Man, there's so many screen use things. Is that Christopher Reeve's costume? Man. It's a classic film. Ooh, Richard Pryor's jacket, as he was. That was the cocaine. Keeps you small. See, they didn't have this section the last time I was here. Ooh, I wonder what upstairs is. I haven't seen that before. Look at that Doomsday! Whoa! That's awesome. That thing's huge. I look small near it. Oh, that's probably not true, but that's big. That's pretty cool. But that pinball machine is fire. Ooh, look at this. That's nice. I love pinball machines. Always have. They've got a residual check for Noel Newell. Or at least the envelope, and what looks like it hasn't been opened, but it's actually from SAG.
You ever got one of those checks?
Not yet. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it looks like her SAG card expired in 2013. I think that was when she passed away. So she was a member right to the end, as tended to be. Wow. That's pretty neat. Ooh. Ooh. Stuff's old. This is all the old George Reeves stuff. Wow. Man.
That's your commercial monthly rate.
Yeah,
Commercial bill.
Oh, we have, this building used to be apartments and we haven't had it converted over, so we want to.
So many screen use products. That's awesome.
That's pretty wicked.
Yeah. All the best. Jack Larson. Oh, Jimmy Olsen. So he played Jimmy Olsen back in the original show. That's awesome. So like I said, this is in the city of Metropolis, Illinois. And one really cool little tidbit that a lot of people don't realize is Metropolis, Illinois was Metropolis before Superman. Like, this existed long before that. It was back in the 1800s. And back once Superman became a big deal, the city got in contact with DC Comics, and they actually agreed upon the fact that they were using Metropolis in their comic book and all that. All they wanted in exchange was to be able to use Superman as part of their marketing capabilities for their city. And if you think about it, they made that deal back 50s or 60s, something like that. There's no way that deal would be made today. Like, can you imagine how much money was on the table? You know, it shows how simple it used to be. Would be like, well, you are using our town name. We'll just use the rights to this huge multi-billion-dollar character. And they're like, perfect. So it's just a different world we live in now. So this is Morgan. Her dad owns a museum. This is their family business. And I know Morgan, I met her, I guess it was several years. I might have been at the wedding of our friends, Kelly and Drew.
Yeah.
Hi, Kelly and Drew. Drew probably never watched this. Anyway, it's in there. Anyway, so they have the Superman Museum here in Metropolis. And Morgan's going to tell me a little bit about some of their screen use props.
Okay, so this is a costume from Superman the movie. This costume, as you can see, there's slits in the sides, was used for flying scenes. So you see where the slits are, right?
Yeah.
When you look over here, this is the original flying harness. You see those boxes, those kind of boxes
there.
with the black
They
thing?
clip them?
Yeah, those, that's where they hooked up the wires for flying scenes. And so,
oh, that's cool. They could move the whole 4 different or 5 different options on up and down. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, to hide that as best as possible.
That is awesome.
And then these are Sarah Douglas's boots.
I remember meeting her at Superman Celebration years ago.
She's a character. She's a lot of fun. She has a lot of good energy.
Yes, she does. Yep.
And then these are Kryptonian guard boots, Kryptonian elder boots. You see the scenes where everybody's costumes is all reflective.
Right.
These are boots that you flash them with a camera and they light up.
Oh, of course, right.
Mark McClure's Jimmy Olsen outfit, and you can see him wearing it in this photograph with Christopher Reeve.
That's awesome.
And then here's some awards from scenes from when they were in Smallville, and these hammers were prop hammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I noticed the hair pieces for Christopher. You wouldn't have even thought
they
that
did
he
that.
needs it, but it's probably faster for
They
them.
did that for continuity.
Yeah,
because
I would
they're
imagine.
making a comic book character movie.
Sure.
And so if his hair grew out or he got a haircut and it was short, scene to scene, it was easier to just put a wig on his head. They did that with Sarah Douglas too.
Yeah.
People don't know that she had long hair at the time and she tucked it up under the wig because she didn't want to cut her hair. This
and of course,
Marlon Brando's Jarrell wig. I love Marlon Brando, like 1950s Marlon Brando. Obsessed. So it's really exciting to have something from Marlon
I mean, they
Brando.
obviously have to be real hair because they've held up amazingly well over the years. They still look really good.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Superman 4 is always kind of.
Right.
But anyway, these are Nuclear Man's boots. There's a scene where he walks across a carpet and burns holes in the carpet.
I remember that scene. Absolutely.
These have hot irons in them.
Are you?
Nifty, huh?
Are you
And so he
kidding
could only
me?
wear them for short periods of time.
They actually
so when
did
he
that
stepped on the
physically?
carpet, he burned it. I love practical
That
effects.
I do too. But that's crazy that they would do that to an actor. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he could only wear them for short periods of time because they would get hot.
What is this from? The big piece of metal back here.
That's the water tower.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I was like, that
So
looked like it came
my
off of
dad,
something
when
like
they were
that.
tearing down our water tower, my dad goes and up to them because he saw this piece coming down. On, you know, the what's it called, the boom truck.
Right.
And he goes, hey, do you think you guys would donate to the museum? And the guys were all workers, and they're, I'm going to put this in my garage. No, I don't want to. And so my dad was brokenhearted about that.
I would imagine.
3 months later, we go to open the store, and there's a piece of metal laying face down on the sidewalk.
So they just came by and dropped it off on
They
the
just
side.
dumped it on the sidewalk.
Like the Goodwill for Superman stuff.
And then,
that makes sense.
now we have it in the museum.
Absolutely.
And you see how goofy his face was.
I was going to say, it has to
but
be
from
older,
far away, you've never
true.
noticed. That phone booth has a cool story. That was actually the first Metropolis tourist attraction.
No kidding.
Let me pull that thing out of there. It used to play a phone call from Superman on the.
So you could like get in and you could actually
get on the
hear
phone
it.
and you could talk to Superman. And the track wore out because it was a tape. But if I could find somebody that does robotic stuff, we could get somebody to record a message. And when you pick up the receiver,
that would be
hello,
amazing.
this is Superman.
That would be cool to put out somewhere right around the outside of the museum.
Well, we have two phone booths, and if we could do that outside the museum, that would be awesome.
How cool would that be?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. Hello, Justice League. No. Wrong number. It's Batman. Loser. Well, thank you, Morgan. I appreciate the tour.
Oh, no
this
problem.
place is amazing,
Yeah.
and I highly recommend anyone watching to get to Metropolis and see this place.